Road Fighter is a 1984 racing arcade game from Konami where you drive a red car up a road and avoid all the other cars to make it to the finish line before your fuel runs out. The game proved popular in arcades that eventually got ported onto the Nintendo Family Computer in 1985, which is the version we're playing today. This eventually got an NES release in Europe, but not North America. But Road Fighter is also one of many Famicom games that would be included among a variety of pirated multi-carts, which is how I first discovered the game in the first place. Despite the title, Road Fighter doesn't actually feature any vehicular combat, unless you want to count accidentally bumping into other cars and they end up crashing on the side of the road by pure chance. But for the most part, you're avoiding cars to keep from spinning out of control, because if you do, you might end up crashing on the side unless you can somehow correct your alignment. Crashing deducts 5 seconds about from your fuel supply, but collecting the multicolored cars will add fuel to your tank. Your goal, naturally, is to reach the finish line before fuel is exhausted, and once it's gone, it's game over, no retries. Road Fighter features 4 distinct courses, and once you've cleared the 4th course, the game loops back to the first, only harder than before. Controls are as follows: steer with left or right on the D-pad, hold B for low speed, hold A for high speed. Controlling your speed is key to success in Road Fighter, for slower speeds will yield an eventual recovery from spinouts. The best you could say is that they work and they function, and I don't really like it. Why not have a gear shift with one of the buttons controlling your brakes, which you cannot do because you have no brakes. You don't even need to press B to build up speed, you could just press and hold A and that works fine too. But no brakes, huh? What kind of shitbox car are you driving anyway? So, yeah, Road Fighter, honestly, never cared for this one. It's one of those games that does a fair enough job of putting you to sleep with how unexciting it is. You just drive up a road, you avoid cars, sometimes a little Konami man will fly by and then you crash. I mean, it looks like Midway arcade classic Spy Hunter, and the title implies this could have been Konami's take on Spy Hunter, that style of game. But all this does is make me wish I was playing Spy Hunter instead, because at least you could blow shit up in that game. Road Fighter is just an overhead version of Pole Position, and that's an insult to Pole Position. Not for nothing, but Road Fighter, the arcade game, kept track of your rankings throughout the race, and that's not something that was retained for this Famicom release. Now, whether that would have made the game better or not, I don't know, but would have been something at least. I mean, look, Road Fighter has a simplistic but clean look to it. You could make out the little cars, the roadside scenery is rather nice and varied, the game runs at a fairly consistent speed, there's no worry about slowdown or flicker in this rather bland driving game. Sound is mostly this droning engine noise that, let's be honest, most NES racers have droning engine noises and they mostly sound lame. There's a couple jingles here and there, and that's about it, really. Now, Road Fighter eventually got an Arcade Archives release from Hamster, so players can check out the arcade original if they want to. I never did, and honestly, I don't know how much of a better experience that would be than this Famicom version, because the gameplay itself isn't anything special. I mean, it works, it's playable, it's not total trash, it's just a bore. And maybe that's a worse sin. Your mileage may vary on this one, and maybe you might enjoy this one more than I did. But the Famicom and the NES have plenty of superior driving and racing games in its library that, quite frankly, blows Road Fighter to a fiery grave on the side.